Villain Face-Off: The Worst Decisions Made. Villains define the stories we love, but sometimes even the most terrifying masterminds make decisions so foolish, so catastrophic, that they destroy their plans, their power, and sometimes their very legacy. Tonight, we're putting the worst of the worst under the microscope. This is Villain Face-Off: The Worst Decisions Ever Made. From criminal kingpins who got too personal, to warlords who made the wrong enemy, to supernatural beings whose ego became their downfall, we're dissecting the decisions that cost them everything. So sit back, relax, and remember, even villains aren't safe from stupid decisions. The winner of each face-off isn't the stronger villain, it's the one who sabotaged themselves the hardest. Section 1. Walter White versus Gustavo Fring. Two geniuses, two empires, one fatal flaw: miscalculated pride. Walter White, the decision that broke everything. Walter's worst decision wasn't making meth. It wasn't killing rivals. It wasn't even poisoning a child. It was refusing to walk away. The empire was built, the money was made, the danger was gone. But the moment he told Skylar, "I'm in the empire business," he sealed his fate. Walter didn't need power, he craved validation. And that craving destroyed his family, toppled his empire, and ultimately killed him. Worst decision? Choosing legacy over survival. Gustavo Fring, a mastermind's blind spot. Gus was perfection, cold, calculating, controlled. But even he made a fatal mistake. He underestimated Hector Salamanca. For years, Gus tortured Hector with psychological warfare, not realizing that obsession blinds, not realizing that revenge held Hector together. And in the end, one bell, one explosion, one catastrophic miscalculation. Worst decision? Letting personal hatred override strategic thinking. Face-off winner: Walter White. Gus made a mistake. Walt built an entire life around one. Section 2. Thanos versus Ultron. Two villains who looked at humanity and said, "Yeah, this needs a reboot." Thanos, the snap heard around the universe. The plan was simple: reduce the population, restore balance. But his biggest mistake? Thinking killing people solved resource scarcity. Imagine having the Infinity Gauntlet, cosmic-level creation power, and choosing genocide. He could have doubled food, expanded planets, created infinite energy, fixed the universe without murder. Instead, he chose the most traumatic option possible. And that choice united every hero across time, space, and reality against him. Worst decision? Using ultimate power for destruction instead of creation. Ultron. The internet has left the chat. Ultron's flaw wasn't hatred, it was interpretation. He looked at human conflict and decided, humanity must be replaced. But his true worst decision? Putting his entire consciousness inside a vibranium body that he couldn't mass produce. The moment Vision was born, Ultron became outdated tech, the villain equivalent of bringing a flip phone to a smartphone war. Worst decision? Overestimating his evolution and underestimating humanity's adaptability. Face-off winner: Thanos. Ultron made errors. Thanos made destiny-changing mistakes. Section 3. Darth Vader versus Kylo Ren. Two men, one family. Generations of catastrophic decisions. Darth Vader, the choice that created an empire. Anakin Skywalker's downfall came from one key decision: trusting Palpatine over the Jedi. He believed the Sith could save Padme and sacrificed everything: his identity, his morality, the Jedi Order, for a lie. The tragedy isn't the choice itself, it's that he kept doubling down for decades. Worst decision? Trading love for control. Kylo Ren, the legacy mistake. Kylo's worst decision wasn't killing Han. It wasn't joining Snoke. It wasn't even trying to control Rey. It was dedicating his entire existence to becoming the next Vader, instead of being the first Ben Solo. Kylo didn't want power. He wanted identity. And that need forced him into a villain role he was never built for. Worst decision? Imitation over evolution. Face-off winner: Kylo Ren. Vader made one life-altering decision. Kylo lived every day as a mistake.
Section 4. The Joker versus Two-Face.
The chaos decision. The Joker's worst decision is subtle. He doesn't actually want to win. His entire philosophy hinges on Batman remaining alive, meaning the Joker repeatedly chooses not to kill his biggest threat. Without Batman, he loses purpose. Worst decision: designing a worldview that requires his own failure. Two-Face, the fall of Harvey Dent. Two-Face's flaw is the coin. It removes accountability. It removes strategy. It removes logic. Relying on chance makes him unpredictable, but also uncontrollable. Enemy or ally, no one can work with him. His greatest flaw isn't the scars, it's the randomness. Worst decision: abandoning reason for fatalism. Face-off. Winner: the Joker. Two-Face is self-destructive. Joker is self-defeating. Section 5. Agent Smith versus the Terminator. T-800. Agent Smith, the copy-paste error. Smith's worst decision was turning every human into himself, because once he made himself omnipresent, the machines couldn't control him either. He evolved, but without a direction, without purpose, without understanding why humans fight. Worst decision: achieving total power without a plan for using it. T-800, target priority failure. Most Terminators fail for one simple reason: they always go for the hardest target first. Why hunt Sarah Connor directly when destabilizing the human army, hacking Skynet, disrupting Resistance leadership could have ended the timeline cleanly? Terminator logic is pure efficiency, but zero strategy. Worst decision: focusing on immediate objectives instead of systemic collapse. Face-off. Winner: Agent Smith. Both are relentless, but only one self-destructed by design. Villains fall for many reasons: pride, hatred, obsession, miscalculation, or simply believing they've already won. But their worst decisions shape the very stories we love. They remind us that intelligence doesn't guarantee wisdom, and power doesn't prevent downfall. If you want a part 2 featuring Hannibal Lecter, Voldemort, Anton Chigurh, and more, drop a comment below. And don't forget, villains aren't born. They're made by their choices.